When it comes to disciplining a teenager, how are you going to discipline a teenager? Disciplining, as far as giving consequences or punishments, it's not complicated in what it means. You take something away, or you put them through some activity, or you put them through some restriction that they would rather not do. That is the negative consequence. Well, what's the right negative consequence to give? Whatever you can do. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. So I had a comment on the video about hitting your kids. Someone asked, can you please talk about disciplining teenagers? Now, of course, I know teenagers very, very well. And so I like this question, but I also don't like this question because the comment was in reply to a video that was about hitting your kids or not hitting your kids. So we'll talk about doing that with teenagers, okay? Giving your kids consequences as teenagers. But first, we're going to read from Ibn al-Jawzi, may Allah have mercy on him, and his book Awakening from Heedlessness, which goes through the stages of life, and I advise everyone who's a parent to read it. It's not a long book. He says, wise people used to say, your son is like your flower the first 7 years and your servant the second 7 years. By the time he reaches 14, if you have been good to him, then he will be your partner. And if you are bad to him, then he will be your enemy. A child should not be beaten or offended after he reaches puberty, because then he will hope to lose his father in order that he may have his own way. Whoever reaches 20 years of age and has not become righteous, then his godliness is remote. However, leniency should be practiced with everyone. So this little section just creates a really good point, which is when it comes to disciplining a teenager, how are you going to discipline a teenager? How? Exactly, okay? Disciplining, as far as giving consequences or punishments, it's not complicated in what it means. You take something away, or you put them through some activity, or you put them through some restriction that they would rather not do. That is the negative consequence. Well, what's the right negative consequence to give? Whatever you can do. Those are the only correct consequences to give to kids. Something that you can implement. The worst consequence to give to a kid is one you can't implement it, because you won't be able to implement it. And then the kid will know that you really don't mean what you say and you're not serious. But with teenagers, even something that you can implement, what is it really going to do to them? It's going to tear you apart from them more so than anything. You should not, with teenagers, it's a problem if you are in a place where I got to work this kid through life by punishing him for something like this. This is a problem, and it indicates a problem in things that took place before they became a teenager, which usually means a lack of bonding and connection on a consistent basis from the parents. So the best advice is to acknowledge that you probably have a relationship with your teenager that needs some reparation, and then to tend to that. And the kid might be in a place where, again, he's trying to tear away. So, you have to reflect a little bit on how you get those defense walls down, and how you make time, and how you open up in a vulnerable type way on yourself to trigger the kid's empathy to want him or her to connect with you in a certain way. Because usually kids who are making troubles as teenagers, they care more about what their peers think. They are peer-oriented, as they say, and they're more invested in that because there wasn't enough close connection with the parents. That is usually the case. So that's the aspect that you have to repair, and you have to open up a little bit. There's controlled ways to let your child know that you feel hurt by something that they are doing, or letting them know that you want to communicate just some fears and anxieties that you have about what they're doing in life right now. That's the first conversation you need to open up. Like, hey, I just want to have a talk with you about something. And usually when teenagers make trouble, they can make troubles in different ways. If it's a boy, it usually has something to do with relating to, girls too, to not communicating about where they were at a certain time, and they stayed out too late, or they weren't home on time, or they didn't message when they were supposed to be here, or something. A lot of times it's stuff like that. Maybe they got in trouble with something at school or whatever. But a lot of those things that parents are upset about with teenagers, about not following the rules of when they're supposed to be home and when they're supposed to communicate, the reality of it for you as a parent is it's causing you anxiety as a parent, because you have fears because of how you feel for them as a child. Don't expect your teenager to just be able to naturally empathize with those fears and anxiety, because your teenager has never been a parent. So you have to sit them down and explain to them in a calm way. And you have to even acknowledge to them, look, I know that, you're just at your friend's house till 9 p.m. or whatever, or you go there after school and you always do that, and you feel like, why do I need to message mom about it? Because, it's something I always do. Just say, you can say to them, I know it's not totally rational, but it's a fear feeling that I can't help, that if I don't always know where you are, I start to worry. I'm your mother, I just can't help it. Or I'm your father, I just can't help it. So I'm asking you, for my sake, to help me feel better, to just do that, and you need to enter in this type of reasoning with the kid, that type of thing. All right. When they are a teenager, a lot of times too, parents make a big mistake with teenagers of thinking that it's time, they have to take on more responsibility for themselves. They're growing up and the kids maybe get a little more resistant, a little more shut off or whatever. So they stop helping them organize their life a little better. And that can make some kids really struggle at school, because school takes a lot more organization as they get into middle and high school. Boys especially need a lot of help with that. And they will be resistant to being open about what's going on in school, but you have to kind of get through that initial resistance to show them that you want to help them stay organized with school and stuff. Because if it's failure at school that they are doing bad with, very, very few kids want to be doing good or bad, want to be doing bad at school, but they usually just need help with it. And it's either they've gotten behind in the subject as far as their understanding with it because they got lost on the learning continuum somewhere. That is usually the case with math. So they might need tutoring. If it's social studies or language arts, English, usually it's actually their language development that is holding them back, and they need a time to read more and get their vocabulary development better. And it's good if you can create a structured time for them to do that. And, if it's not one of those things, if it's not that they need a structured time to help with the organization of their academics or further learning because you're upset that they're struggling with school, if it's something else, if it's purely behavioral, then, you need to create a structured time for more connection between you and your teenage child. What does that look like? Well, first of all, it's going to be reasonable within their schedule. 30 minutes set aside in a week is very, very helpful. Just 30 minutes. So you think, what is a time where I know so-and-so is going to be home and, their friends won't be calling, it's not going to interfere. Okay, Sunday morning is a good time a lot of time. Okay, some of the time where maybe they used to go to the weekend schools or whatever, and they've chiseled you out of wanting to do that because they gave you such a hard time about doing that. They can say, look, and I know they like to sleep in on the weekends when they're teenagers, but look, if you can get up by 10:30 or 11, I want us to have coffee in the morning or breakfast together, 10:30 to 11:30. Just you and me, just you and whatever parent, just make it one-on-one. Maybe they'd be interested in going out to a coffee shop. A lot of times the girls especially might be interested in doing that, in more of that type of stuff. Just take some time and you and I are going to talk and check in with one another. And even the first few times you do it, it doesn't have to be so serious a talk or whatever. It can just be lighter connection, but the consistency becomes important. Okay, I do this with, I have 2 teenage daughters. I have one who's going to be a teenager, another one who's going to be a teenager in a few months. I do this with them. I talk about having the reading time when they're younger. So you read to them before they go to bed with them on your lap when they're really young. And then you switch it to everyone reading their own book together. What I'm finding is more working at this age is I alternate between each one of them. And then I have either 30 minutes or an hour with them each night. And we do some sort of Islamic study. So they are having some sort of ongoing learning about that. And it's also for them a connecting time with me and that type of stuff. And, depending on where your relationship with the kid, you have different amounts of resistance to doing this. But most kids, even if their relationship is a little rocky, they shouldn't be resistant to it because deep down, they really do want the connection and the relationship. And if you make it more about, your wants and your own vulnerability, meaning you are acknowledging to the young man or the young woman that you are asking for something in return from them to ease your own emotions, that is the route to go, because then you're not pretending to be perfect, because kids know you're not perfect at this age and they despise that. You're not pretending that you have more authority than you really do, because kids get in tune to that at this age too, and they will test the boundaries of that. And the parents who act like they're entitled to some sort of authority at this age, not saying that parents shouldn't have authority. Yes, the kids should be obedient to you as Muslims. They should obey you, but the reality is they'll struggle through things. So if you acknowledge that it is something that you are asking as a favor from them because of your own shortcomings and weaknesses, that will make them more responsive to you, because it will make them feel like they're making a mature decision now, and they will take it as you being more authentic and real because you are being honest about yourself and your shortcomings, which they're starting to get very in tune to. So that is my suggestion, whatever this is. It's really just a problem to be even thinking that you have to be disciplining a teenager at all. Now, if they cross certain boundaries, yeah, discipline them. If they've broken the law, put them through the legal system, which is softer on minors than it is when they're older, if it's extreme like that. Because the criminal justice system, they can do the actual disciplining. They have the actual mechanisms, more so than you might have. But the reality is, if this is a question going through a parent's mind, I have to discipline my teenager for something, it's really getting a connected relationship back in place that is usually more the issue. And you have to start doing that in a small way and in a vulnerable way. Brothers or sisters, as much as the brothers might not like that word, I don't even like that word, but there is a reality to it. I think the question was about punishment because it was on a video that was about punishment. But if the question is about developing self-discipline in the kid, well, get them to do some activities or be a part of something that involves responsibility. And they should have that in the household already. I've done other videos on that. But otherwise, 14 is a decent age for some kids to start looking for a job if they got nothing else going. If they are part of a school district that has comprehensive after school and extracurricular activities, it is a good time for kids to be doing some of those things because they oftentimes entail extra responsibilities that need to be met. If you can get them involved in volunteering in the masjid in a way that does that, but help structure it so they are successful with it. Like that's what they need to develop more discipline, is being given more responsibilities that are above what they've been asked to do at this point in life, but still reachable for them. If those opportunities don't exist, you can ask them to do more advanced things around the house. I've had the video before about the boys not doing chores, and I got so much flack from clearly young men in the video about it. But one thing that would have been a genuine criticism of that video that nobody mentioned was what you can do is have the boys do the more difficult responsibilities around the house. So you have them fix things. Okay, the refrigerator breaks. Dad and son look up how to fix it, and you work together to do it. You need a new shelving unit built in the house. You do something like that. Those types of things are very, the things that are the more adult-only oriented responsibility tasks around the house, you can start giving them to teenagers or having them do them alongside you at those older ages. Sometimes Muslims, they are living in these sterile townhomes in the United States or apartment buildings where they don't even have the right to modify things and do these fixing things. And that's a whole other discussion if you're in that situation. But if we're asking about discipline as far as increasing his self-discipline or hers, getting them in situations where they have to exhibit a little more responsibility than they have before in a way that will challenge them but is still able to be met by them, that is the key to that. وَإِلَهُنَا سُبْحَانَكَ وَبِحَمْدِكَ أَشْهَدُ أَنْ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنْتَ أَسْتَغْفِرُ وَأَتُوبُ إِلَيْكَ.